Hello, my dear family. What a joy it is to be here for another Bible study with you. The verses we are going to study today bring one of the most powerful and well-known phrases of Jesus in the New Testament. We are going to dive deep into this moment of the Good Shepherd discourse. But before we begin, let me ask you, have you subscribed to the channel yet? No? Then subscribe right now. We have Bible study videos that will enrich your mind and soul every single day from Monday to Monday. So, let's get into today's study. John chapter 10, verses 9 through 11. I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The landscape of Judea in the time of Jesus was composed of arid terrain, rocky hills, and deep valleys, where survival depended on a profound knowledge of the land and constant vigilance. When we listen to Christ speak about being the gate and the good shepherd, we need to visualize the real setting of that era to grasp the magnitude of this promise. In that context, the figure of the shepherd was not surrounded by the romanticism we often imagine today. On the contrary, it was a profession of extreme sacrifice, held by men who lived on the margins of society, facing isolation and climatic dangers to ensure that no life under their care was lost. They were the guardians of providence in a world where danger lurked in every shadow of the caves. Historically, there were two types of sheepfolds where the sheep were gathered. The first was in the villages, where several flocks were kept together under the watch of a gatekeeper during the night. The second, and more relevant to understanding what Jesus meant, was the field fold, used during grazing seasons away from home. These places were simple enclosures made of low stone walls with a single narrow opening through which the animals passed. There were no wooden gates, hinges, or locks. At nightfall, after gathering all the sheep and checking that each one was well, the shepherd would lie down across that opening. The shepherd's body became the physical barrier. He was, literally, the gate. Nothing went in and nothing went out without passing over him. This image brings a deep sense of security. If a wolf or a thief tried to attack the flock, they would first have to face the shepherd himself, who was willing to offer his physical integrity to protect what was his. The thief mentioned by Jesus in the text refers to very real historical figures of that time, religious and political leaders who saw the people only as a means to obtain profit and control, exploiting the faith of others without any commitment to their lives. Unlike these hirelings, the true shepherd knew each of his sheep by name, a common practice in the ancient Near East, where the relationship between the guide and the flock was based on trust and the recognition of the voice, rather than force or fear. The promise of life in abundance that resonates in this passage must be understood within that reality of scarcity in the desert. Having abundance did not necessarily mean material luxury, but rather the certainty that there would be green pastures and still waters even in times of drought, because the shepherd knew where to find them. It means living with an elevated mind and a soul filled with the certainty that there is a greater purpose sustaining us. Jesus was presenting a new way of living, where the fear of tomorrow is replaced by trust in someone who is already positioned at the gate of our lives, filtering what can enter and ensuring that our exit into the world is made under his constant protection and guidance. The Good Shepherd lays down his life for the sheep, and this was a daily possibility for those men who faced wild beasts and robbers on the hills of Palestine. When applying this to our existence, we realize that we are not walking alone in an uncertain valley. The surrender mentioned by Christ is an act of supreme love that dignifies our journey and invites us to rest in the certainty that we are precious. This relationship of care is what ennobles our spirit, as it reminds us that regardless of external circumstances or threats that try to steal our peace, our essence is guarded by the one who is the very entrance to a life of real meaning and constant fullness. This constant fullness is not a distant destination, but a reality you can access right now in the midst of your routine and your challenges. If Jesus places himself as the gate of your life, it means you no longer need to carry the weight of being your own and only defender. In the practical world, being the sheep of this good shepherd is understanding that your mind and heart possess a divine filter. The thief. Jesus' mentions often manifest today as excessive worry, the voices of discouragement whispering in your ear, or the constant comparison that tries to steal your joy. But by walking with the awareness that there is a watchman at the entrance of your soul, you begin to discern what should truly be allowed to enter your inner self. You gain the freedom to go out to work, to your projects, and to your relationships with the confidence of someone who knows that, at the end of the day, there is a place of rest and security. To live in abundance is to have the clarity that your internal resources are renewed by the source of life, regardless of how the economy is around you or how hectic your environment may be. Having a full life means possessing an elevated perspective on problems. It is looking at a difficulty and not seeing an end, but rather an opportunity to be guided to a new pasture. The mentor of our soul teaches us that abundance begins with how we view our worth. When you understand that the Creator gave His own life for you, any feeling of insignificance loses its grip. You are a heavenly treasure. This certainty should be reflected in the way you wake up, how you speak to people, and how you deal with your own mistakes. You are not defined by your falls, but by the constant care of the one who never takes his eyes off you and who is ready to rescue you from any crooked path you may have taken by mistake. This journey of faith requires you to learn to recognize the voice of truth amidst the noise of the world. In practical life, this translates into moments of silence and reflection, where you allow the words of Christ to calm the storm of your thoughts. When you tune your spiritual hearing to the voice of the shepherd, decisions become clearer, and the fear of the future begins to dissipate. You start to realize that abundance is not about having everything, but knowing that nothing essential will be missing. It is a peace that fills the empty spaces and a strength that manifests precisely in your moments of greatest sensitivity. You were created to flourish, to grow, and to experience the best of existence under the guidance of one who perfectly understands each of your needs, even before you express them. Take advantage of this day to walk with your head held high, knowing that the gate is open for blessings and closed to everything that only wishes you harm. Let this security transform your countenance and your willingness to serve and love. You are under a watch that does not sleep, under a gaze that overflows with love, and under a guidance that will always lead you to the best path, even if the climb seems steep right now. Life in abundance is your spiritual birthright, and it begins the moment you accept being led. Therefore, so that this message may penetrate every fiber of your being and bring the relief you seek, I would like to invite you now to a moment of direct connection with the Father, joining our hearts in a sincere and profound prayer. Lord and friend, in this hour of silence and surrender, we lift our hearts to you, recognizing that you are the only secure gate through which we can pass. We ask that your presence stand now at the entrance of our minds and our souls, acting as the guardian who filters our thoughts and protects our peace. May no fear, no lie, and no feeling of lack be able to cross the boundary the Lord has set for us today. You promised life in abundance, and we accept that promise not as something distant, but as a living reality that fills our days and renews our hopes. Teach us to hear your gentle voice amidst the noise of the world, so that we may follow with steady steps the paths that lead to still waters and green pastures, We recognize the supreme sacrifice the Lord made for each of us, giving his own life so that we might have dignity and a real purpose. May this certainty give us the courage needed to face any challenge, knowing that we are never walking alone in unknown fields. May our going out into the world be done under your protection, and our returning home be a moment of deep rest and gratitude. Take from us every burden that does not belong to us, and replace anxiety with serene trust in the one who knows each of his sheep by name. May your hand guide us, may your light illuminate us, and may your joy be our strength in every step of the journey. We entrust to you our plans, our families, and our dreams, trusting that the Good Shepherd is always ahead, opening the way and ensuring that we lack nothing. Amen. Thank you so much for walking with us until the end of this study. If this moment has enriched your soul, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to join us on this journey every day. Share this video with someone you love or with that person who needs a word of comfort as a warm embrace today. By doing this, you help us strengthen our Bible study community and bring hope to more hearts. Your participation is what moves this channel of faith and light forward. May your week be filled with green pastures and still waters. And remember, God is always with you.